Hi beautiful ladies, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk to you about healing painful periods naturally. During my last live, I had shared a bit of my story dealing with painful periods. And one of the things that I stressed was the importance of maintaining a healthy weight, but also for maintaining good health. And from personal experience, I noticed that whenever I maintained a healthy diet, I was consistent with my workouts, I saw positive results with my periods. Now, I'm someone who probably ever since I was in like grade 7 up until like 2020, I dealt with very, very bad periods. Anyone who knows me would be able to tell you that there were times where I would throw up at work or at school and I'd have to go home. I've had to go to the hospital a couple times to get inflammation shots to help with the pain. The pain would get so bad that like a painkiller wouldn't even do anything. Like it felt like my uterus was just opening and like someone was pulling it out. And I pretty much dealt with this month after month. And by the way, before I continue, if you are squeamish or if you're a male listening to this and women's biology freaks you out, feel free to just stop here. But I also dealt with heavy periods as well. Like I would go through one long super pad every 30 minutes, every 30 to 45 minutes on my heaviest day. And that is considered extremely heavy. They diagnose a heavy period as having to change every hour. And so I was obviously exceeding that. I was doing double that. And of course, with that, I would have to then deal with low iron, low energy because I was losing a lot of blood. And so I would continue to suffer with low iron and then by extension, low energy. And consistently having low iron is just not good for your health overall. It can really mess things up and actually even contribute to you having heavier periods, because when you're low on iron but then like you're also menstruating, your body will try to find ways to extract iron from sources in your body, and so it will cause your body to bleed more so that it can get more iron from your blood essentially. And so it's like this repeated cycle of having a heavy cycle, which then triggers low iron, but then the low iron triggers heavier cycles, and then the cycle just continues and goes on. And so I said to myself, look, I cannot live my life like this. I refuse to be in agony month after month. Like I would go to doctors for years and they would say the best we can do is recommend that you take birth control. And, you know, no qualms against birth control. If that's what you need to do to get yourself right in the interim, then by all means. But that is only a band-aid solution and not a long-term solution. It does not heal the root cause. And so it'll stop the symptoms for sure. And you may even be able to get away with having this for years even. Some people are on the birth control pill for years for better periods. But a lot of times when you get off of that, for whatever reason, you get tired of it or you want to start to have a family, a lot of women complain that their symptoms come back, and they often come back with a vengeance. And a lot of women also experience other issues as a result of being on the birth control pill for a long term. And so I recognized that that just was not a feasible option for me. And so I said, look, however long it takes, I need to find the answer. And so I just kept doing research. And I'm just going to share with you what I found. So again, the first thing that I realized was that I had to clean up my diet, and that included avoiding certain type of foods. So salty foods like potato chips, French fries, fatty foods. So just any processed food, any fast food really. I used to really love pizza and I still do, but I really had to reconcile within myself to cut back so that that wasn't my main source of eating, because essentially there are no nutrients. And so I switched from that mentality and said, okay, every time that I eat, I need to be eating something that I know is going to nourish my body. And by extension, it would then nourish my reproductive system, my hormones, and that'll result in me having healthy periods. And so now, because I am in my reproductive years, and even if you don't want to have children, as long as you are menstruating, you should still prioritize your hormonal health, because that will lead to you feeling good all year round. Like you'll have more energy, you won't be in pain, etc. And so I focus on eating healthy fats. I focus on healthy fats so that it can support building and balancing healthy hormones. I focus on protein so that I'm able to burn fat faster and not hold on to excess calories in my body. And I speak more about this in my weight loss video, so go check that out. I don't have sugary drinks. I drink lots of water. I drink chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is the green food. Think of chlorophyll as a plant's blood cell, essentially. That's what gives plants its energy and creates food. So I drink that twice a day to help detox my body, but to also help build my iron levels, if you will. And I also make sure that I take an iron supplement. It's a good idea, especially if you have heavy flows, to get your blood work done just to see what your hemoglobin levels are. And if you're feeling especially fatigued and you can't figure out why, it could be that you have low iron. So I do recommend that you go get that checked out. And then from there, you can work with a healthcare provider, go to a health food store, and ask them to recommend an iron supplement for someone with low iron. So I take one twice a day, and that gives me about 90 milligrams of iron. I've had doctors saying that I should get anywhere from 60 to 80, so I'm getting more than enough, and that's good for someone for me. And yeah, every now and then I will treat myself to my favorite foods, but my main focus is on the quality of the food rather than just eating for the sake of eating. I've tapped into traditional Chinese medicine. That has been a great help for me, and I've gotten that from two sources. So number one, experimenting with various herbs. And just like with every other video, especially health related videos, this is not meant to be taken as medical advice. Please speak to your healthcare provider before you start anything new, especially if you're on medication, you're pregnant, or you have any pre-existing health issues, because some of these methods and herbs can counteract and exacerbate certain things, so just do your due diligence. But I started to take traditional Chinese herbs because they are medicinal and they work to heal the dysbiosis that's in your body. And so some of the herbs that I take is red raspberry leaf to tonify the uterus and promote healthy functioning and cramping. So it'll help your body to be able to shed your uterine lining without you having cramps to get rid of it. I also take stinging nettle that has traditionally been used to relieve menstrual cramps and heavy bleeding. I also take dong quai, that is known as the women's ginseng, that helps to promote balanced hormones, just to name a few. And honestly, it doesn't matter really what herbs you take. A naturopath or a licensed traditional Chinese practitioner can recommend some herbs based on your personal needs. But the fact of the matter is, I opened my mind to alternative means of medicine based on my personal needs. I did my own research, and I also worked with a naturopath to find the right supplements for me. You don't want to overdo it, because then you're just honestly wasting resources and time. If you find that you do your own research and you find herbs that don't really work well for you, no big deal. There are many more out there that you can try. Just keep an open mind and keep doing your research, and you will find ones that will work for you. If you find that they cause you to bleed more, sometimes some herbs can do the opposite effect for you and just not work for you. Like that was the case for me when I took dim. That's an extract of broccoli that's supposed to be known to lighten your periods and help with PMS. And it did a great deal in helping with PMS. Like I wasn't tired before my cycle and I didn't have any breast tenderness, but it made my cycle super long and super long, like in between. Like it almost made it irregular, and I was like, no, this is not normal. So I've heard of many women finding success with this herb, but for me, unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and so I just stopped it. and I just changed course. I also have been doing acupuncture. Acupuncture works to create balance in your body's energy, or chi. And that's pretty, and chi, it's not like a spiritual thing, or some people will say, oh, I don't want to do that because it's a spiritual thing. It's literally your body's life force. And so if there's disbalance in your body, that'll manifest in multiple ways. Whether it's irritability, whether it's chronic fatigue, whether it's bad periods, heavy periods, clotty periods are known to have, like, where you have stagnant chi, like there's stagnancy in the body. And so it causes your blood not to flow properly. And when your blood isn't flowing properly, like, that'll manifest in pain, because now your body's working overtime to get the blood to flow, and so that's why you feel the cramp. If you have menstrual clot, obviously it's not flowing if the blood is essentially pooling and creating clots. And so you really want to get that chi flowing and balance and dampness out of your body so that things can flow properly. And so that's what acupuncture does. It helps to, they target the meridians in your body that will affect certain parts of the body, specifically your uterus, but also other organs that support your hormonal health, like your kidneys and your liver. And doing that over a period of time, you'll start to notice more balance. So for me, like, my sleep is much better than what it was for most of my life. Like, I can knock out even without having to take a magnesium supplement, which, by the way, is also amazing for managing hormonal health because it helps to balance your sleep. And having adequate sleep is very, very important for your hormones. If you are chronically tired, or just not sleeping well all the time, then your body has no fuel or no rest to be able to heal itself. So you need to get that in order. But even if I miss a night or two of taking my magnesium, because I've been doing acupuncture to help balance my chi, if you will, I sleep like a log. Oh yes, and another point about foods to stay away from. I stay away from foods that will increase estrogen, like soy, and even just like vegan meats. When I used to be vegan, I became vegan because I thought that it would help heal my period, and honestly, it made things worse because I was eating a lot of beans, which are high in estrogen, xenoestrogen specifically. But I was also having a lot of those processed meats. And let me tell you, whenever I had like the fake breakfast sausage, for example, my periods would be horrible. I would have cramps, I would have menstrual clotting that was painful, like it was a nightmare. And after I stopped that and I stay away from soy-based products, I noticed that my periods are healthier as well. And another thing is cannabis. I know that cannabis is kind of taboo for a lot of people, and a lot of people also cannot access it based on where you live. But I like to take cannabis, specifically CBD oil, for pain relief because it works a lot. It's a lot more effective than taking traditional painkillers. Traditional painkillers are not healthy for your body long term because they mess up the receptors in your brain, and they make you more dependent and reliant upon the painkiller, and your body simply just becomes dependent on that instead of trying to heal itself. And so not only does cannabis help with pain relief, it's a natural pain relief, it's not harmful, but also there's some receptors in your body called endoreceptors, which pretty much acts as a lock, if you will, and a key effect to attract and increase the effects of the cannabis in your body. So in your brain, you have these receptors where when you take, let's say, an Advil, for example, when you take that Advil, it goes directly to the receptors in your brain and turns on the signal that, oh, she's feeling pain, let's go to the body and now turn it off. But with cannabis, you have it in two sources. So it goes to the brain and sends that same signal, but it also goes to the endocannabinoid receptors in your reproductive system, so your uterus and your cervix, I believe, and it turns off the pain there as well. So you'll feel relief a lot quicker, but you'll also have more long-term effects because it's not like you're relying on the brain to send a signal and then after a while it wears off and then you could feel pain again. But it's actually going directly to the source of the pain and causing it to just relax. So think of like you bump your elbow on like the table and you go and get an ice pack and you immediately feel relief from that ice pack. That is what the endocannabinoid receptors do when you take cannabis products, and they go directly to the body. Now, of course, this is a very unconventional method and topic, and I highly recommend that you do your research. If you live in a state or country where it is legal, have this conversation with a naturopath or with your doctor. A lot of doctors like to dismiss cannabis, honestly. And so maybe your doctor just is not open-minded. If they are, then great. But if you don't live in a country or a state where you can access it legally, I highly recommend having this conversation and really advocating for yourself with your doctor to give you a medical cannabis card so that you can get some relief. Because even times when I had access to painkillers and I relied on painkillers for pain relief, they were not as effective. Sometimes I'd have to wait hours before it actually fully kicked in and I could feel some relief. Whereas now I feel relief in like within 30 minutes to an hour top, and it lasts all day. And CBD does not get you high. It's THC. THC is the one that goes and gives you that psychoactive effect, whereas CBD gives you the body relief. And so you're still able to fully function. You're able to drive. You're not going to be like a mess, but you're able to give your body some relief so that you can function. So I highly recommend speaking with your doctor and really pushing for that, especially if you have a history of having bad periods and nothing working out for you. Your doctor may be open to giving this a try. Okay, let me know your thoughts. What have you done to heal your periods? Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.